Welcome to this keynote interview for AI Transform Conference 2024, which is the conference aimed at introducing AI to SMEs and helping them learn about and implement AI solutions into their businesses. I'm joined today by Piers, Linney, who is the co-founder of Implement AI, who's best known probably for his time on Dragon's Den. So, Piers, do you want to just give us a short intro into yourself?
Yeah, I am an entrepreneur and investor. I'm a former Dragon on Dragon's Den, as you mentioned, and also a co-founder of Implement AI. So we help SMEs, as you've talked about, implement AI by using managed AI agents.
AI is kind of the buzzword right now, and the talk of AI is really dominating. So the impression that it gives is every company is using it, every organization is using it, and if your company's not, then you're in trouble. What do you think separates the hype from the reality?
Well, you got the kind of the guy in a hype cycle people love talking about, and there is a lot of noise. A lot of the noise can be created by consumer AI. So you see lots of text to videos, all very interesting, and it does have and will have more as time goes on business use cases. We're very focused on AI for business. So how do you implement this technology today? And the way I look at it is, again, we have various programs to help you sort of understand the technology and embrace it, and then start to deploy it. But the key is to deploy it in areas where the technology works, it can actually add value, and also where there's an ROI. So that's how we tend to work. And we're focused on AI agents. So you see people saying, you can download this agent, it'll do your accounts for you. It's nonsense. Technology is not there yet. So we provide managed agents where, just like a human worker, really, you have to onboard them, train them, explain your tone of voice, policies, governance. But for now and for the foreseeable future, it's a human machine partnership. So it's AI augmenting humans to hopefully automate the mundane, get rid of the repetitive, stuff people don't want to do. You want your human, that valuable human resource, to focus on doing things that add more value and doing more meaningful work.
Yeah, I guess on that note, it kind of gives more time for humans to kind of implement strategy and things like that if you're removing those mundane tasks from everyday operations.
Yeah, so in the foreseeable future, it's a human machine partnership. It's about artificial intelligence, which is still a tool. We're talking about artificial general intelligence or super intelligence now. It's good at some things, not good at other things, but it's a tool. And you're augmenting humans so that you can automate the mundane, prevent people from having to do the repetitive work, and let people, humans, do more meaningful work and hopefully add more value.
Yeah, exactly. And then I suppose along that sense, with all new technology, there's always kind of the assumption that AI is only for big corporations, for enterprise, and not so much for the SME or even the non-tech based companies. But it can offer SMEs a real opportunity to compete with larger and less AI focused organizations. Do you think?
Yes, I know quite a bit about UK productivity. I was on the board of British Business Bank for 4 years, and UK SMEs especially suffer from productivity, sort of lag, and that's something we can potentially fix using artificial intelligence. So it's relevant to companies of all sizes, and we work with companies, from like 1 million revenue actually, all the way up to 500 million in revenue. But the key is to look at your processes, your workflows, what people do, and pick off automation opportunities where it adds value and the technology works today. And that's where you'll see, and you can't sort of completely AIify your business, right? You pick off departments or processes or workflows, like I said, that actually you can add value today. And also what we found is that it's not really about cutting costs, actually. The real benefit, the real upside is to engage prospects and customers in new and more interesting ways and to try and improve conversion. It's actually about growing the top line as it is about, sort of flatlining, optimizing your cost base.
Yeah, exactly. And then I guess kind of when you're talking about AIifying your business, another concern that a lot of people probably have is that it's going to replace a lot of human jobs. So in in the main thing, it's kind of we want to teach people that it's not there to replace human jobs, it's there to aid us. And how we can see growth in more AI or AI enabled roles rather than it physically replacing people.
Well, there's kind of an arc, really. I think there's an arc of opportunity with where we are today. And we call it, building an AI assisted organization. So to remain competitive, to remain relevant, to be able to grow like your competition in your sector, be able to optimize your costs, your margins, your profitability, and at the end of the day, the value of your business. That's the opportunity now, is to augment, humans with AI. AI can't do jobs yet. It can undertake tasks. So any job has goals and objectives, and it's got tasks to achieve them. And you pick off those tasks. In the longer term, knowledge work, cognitive labor, the cost of that IQ is probably going to zero. And then you've got robotics, embodied AI. Eventually, you put these generalist models that understand our environment, our built environment. They can do quite amazing things. So you will see pressure on what we do all day, but that's some way away. It's also inevitable. So the question is what do you do on the journey to that future?
Yeah, exactly. I suppose there's so much concern and misinformation around AI at the moment, but there's also panic and excitement around it from the people that know about it. So what, especially we want to do at the conference, is kind of teach people that it isn't the Terminator style AI that people think it is. It is this thing that's going to actually, if you implement it properly, it can really improve your businesses.
It's a tool. It's like a screwdriver. It's like a toaster. So it's quite good at some things. It's getting better all the time. You're seeing now, people don't really use it too often, but the ability for it to, take photographs, understand video or images is really, really powerful. So like I said, is that I'm really positive about AI. I use it all day. I use it myself. I use it personally, and it has transformed the way I do things. It's like a time machine in the way in which it saves me time, which gives me time to do other things. It should be leisure activity. It tends to be more work, so that's the danger. But it is really, really powerful, and it is something that everybody should learn about, embrace, understand, and start to implement. Because I always say there's a ship leaving the harbour, right? And this is not cloud. I spent 10 years selling cloud. I still give keynotes about cloud today, and I use the same notes that I used 8 years ago. This is not cloud. This is not digital transformation. You can't wait 5 or 10 years to get on this boat because it would have left the harbour, and this one isn't coming back.
Yes, as well. Um, for I guess kind of almost to summarize then, where AI technology can make the biggest impact for SMEs, it is kind of those non-tech companies where it's going to be those guys that will not have thought about how can it help you in order to maintain and in order to grow.
Well, so we find that it's non-tech companies. You're absolutely right. But also, it's almost any company, unless you've got a lot of resource. Because what we find is that a lot of companies don't have innovation R&D budgets, people, project managers. So they might have implemented a CRM or have a website or an e-commerce capability, but a lot of SMEs especially don't have extra budget just floating around and time, energy, and resource to start implementing AI and projects around that. So we try and do is kind of almost outsource that and work with organizations. But the point is to start understanding, and training could be the first thing, understanding the capability of the technology so you can spot automation opportunities. So training can be a first quite important step. And then, like I said, is keep it simple. Just pick off, use productivity suites as AI and SaaS now. I mean, personally, I think that SaaS over time will start to disappear because, SaaS is software that humans work. That's why you pay per seat. And that's kind of going to go away. You're going to see it collapse where AI agents can do this for you. But that's good news. It means you can run your business the way that you want to, not the way some SaaS companies built their software and it's kind of telling you to. So there's lots of opportunity, but it's about really just getting involved, understanding, and not pushing back on it. What we find is the way management teams, senior leadership teams, upskill them, make sure people can have a conversation, they understand the jargon, and then that old fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the FUD, starts to dissipate.
Yeah, and then I guess if we touch on kind of what you're going to be talking about at the AI Transform conference, and then so you'll be offering thoughts and advice for SMEs on how to devise and implement these successful AI business strategies and employ these AI agents, if you like. So what are the key topics that you're going to be covering at the show?
So the show we're going to be covering putting AI to work, right? So as you've said, it's not really about the sort of the noise out there. It's about how do I use the technology today to boost sales, boost revenue, grow faster, improve our customer experiences, improve engagement with customers and prospects, so improve sales conversion. So it's about the top line, but also at the same time, how do you optimize your costs? So the gap between the two widens. That's margin, that's profit. Apply a multiple if you want to sell your business. That's wealth. So it's about wealth creation actually at the end of the day. And then over time, what I want to talk about really is just understand the pace of change. Is that in this kind of exponential change, is sort of the steep curve. We humans, we struggle to understand exponential change. And the point is not to get trapped into thinking that wherever we are on that curve, it's going to be a linear growth from there. It isn't. It's going to keep changing. And it's really trying to explain to people to get your head around that, and therefore start trying to put AI to work today to create competitive advantage.
And then off the back of that, how easy do you feel that it is to implement these systems into business?
So implementing AI it can be as complex as you want it to be. I also think it was like a 2 by 2 matrix. So at the bottom, you've got complexity and your return on the investment, the time, resource, the energy. And the bottom left box really is the technology works, it's proven, and there's ROI. So really, you want to focus there. It's less risk. You can, if you wanted to, look at transforming your business by looking at maybe the top right box, which is cutting edge, bleeding edge, and the ROI is not quite demonstrable yet. But you can see that in the long term, that top right box will eventually become the bottom left box as the tech's proven and the ROI is proven as well. So possibly, depending on your risk appetite, is playing the bottom left box, but there's a huge amount to do there. Just from basic document management, customer service. Voice is going to be huge. People answering phones in first line support is kind of going to go away. We've done a lot of outbound, so prospecting, customer reactivation using outbound call agents, and that's amazed me. I always thought it'd be much more focus on inbound, and it isn't. The outbound capability is astounding, actually.
And then people talk about trust a lot, and they don't realize necessarily sometimes that when you're trusting companies with your data, and they don't want to trust AI because they don't. It's this new thing, right? That they don't realize they're already trusting it's companies like Microsoft because they're using Outlook and things like that. And if you're using Copilot, then you're already using AI. So what would you kind of say about the trust element of it all?
There's no difference, is there? So at the end of the day, there's regulations. There's also your internal policies, how you want to treat data and secure your data. So none of that changes, and none of that changes with AI. At the end of the day, AI typically, whether you're using Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure, we're a Microsoft partner, and whether you're using SaaS technologies or SaaS applications that are now embedding AI, that security wrapper and how your data is secured and managed, it doesn't go away, it doesn't change. Now, there was initial worries about the models sucking in people's data and using it, sharing it to other people. That's been dealt with very, very quickly. Otherwise, the organizations would never use this technology. So that's kind of a misnomer now. It's kind of gone away, really, that risk. And again, like any technologies, you can wrap further wrappers of security around it if you choose to. A lot of the large hyperscale cloud platforms enable you to do that.
Perfect. And then just to kind of summarize, what advice would you give to SMEs that as they're contemplating the challenges and opportunities of implementing AI and bringing it into them so that they can further themselves into the new future?
So my main advice for SMEs thinking about AI and implementing it is to start. It's simple as that. And it can be training, it can be set up a small working group, interdepartmental, if it's a small company, just the people that make decisions, and also people who actually do the work actually, because they're the ones that understand what can be automated. And then, like I said, is just pick off simple, repetitive, mundane processes, workflows, but at the same time also try and innovate, because the point about AI is that if everybody uses the AI that's out there in the productivity suites, the obvious AI, it's like spell check. Everybody's got it. So the opportunity here is to use AI and AI agents or managed agents in ways in which you can transform your business and become more competitive, both in terms of your growth and your cost optimization, which again boils down to margin and profit at the end of the day.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning, Piers. You can hear Piers' keynote talk on the 23rd of October at AI Transform 2024, once again at the Slate in Coventry, which is at the University of Warwick. Again, thank you so much for your time this morning, Piers, and we will see you there.
Thank you.